wanted me dead because I was just being like a fucking just annoying. Because
They
attack him
chow
before
this a
making the
lot.
hill also.
They chow this a lot. So for the P1 setup, it's literally 3 people off spawn,
Oh,
run,
fuck,
push, AR first, lay down, hold this cross. One person gets into this side on time and he watches this, or he can go into this corner and watch this while this guy holds this door laying down below the toilet or some shit. Or you can lay down behind the thing right here. And there'll be 2 people in this hill time. What?
If they push into hill though on that like setup that you just talked about, like if they push into hill, they're just gonna take red and just sit in there, make them push us. Like we're gonna have to push them.
Maybe, but that's why we have Semtexes and stuns to make it
Yeah, that's true. They won't
a
have
better
trophy on
trade.
first. Yeah, they won't have trophy on first
That's
break,
what
but
I'm
like
saying.
if it's
That's why
second
we
rotation.
use Semtexes, especially on subs and shit like that. Because if we're playing hill time, a Semtex is gonna be more useful because they go to the contest spawn on time. We shoulder peek, throw a nade, get them weak, or we throw a stun, get them weak, and we chow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We know that we're better at chowing that. So basically this off the rip. If you want to, you can just have 2 people time and have a second guy help tunnel, and then make sure you have P2 rotations. Because other teams, like good teams, but we're gonna do this is it's gonna be something like this where we're gonna send 2 tunnel, both AR. Yeah, we'll do both ARs tunnel. Our sub's gonna go bottom mid, pinch garage, and then there's just gonna be an AR hill playing for kills right here. And then what's just gonna happen is we're gonna play for P2 first, and then whoever dies and spawns up or whatever, we leave one guy P2, and then everyone else starts chowing old or rotates. Sets up for that one. Like as long as we win the P2 rotation here, it's fine. Like this is the same thing as Invasion and the other maps, to be honest. But like P1, we mitigate our losses, and then we do um rotate to P2. Rotate to... Actually, I did this wrong already. P1, rotate to P2, and then we rotate to P3, and then we rotate to P4, and then we rotate to P5. This is literally how the rotations are going to look on the map. P1, we go around ticket side, we try and break through ticket, because this is how the break should be. These are breaks and holds, by the way. If we're breaking P2, like P1 going to P2, we're going to break from ticket side. We're going to try and cross. We're going to get whatever kills we can. But we basically kill on the cross. Our sub is going to try and get in the garage, push up as close as possible to cut the guys off going tunnel. We cross, and then we hit the jump ups, and one guy goes bottom or some shit, and we pinch the guy time. And then from P2 to... I mean, we'll talk about the hold for P2 a little bit, actually. Like the P2 hold's pretty basic, but I think the best case scenario is if someone is holding tunnel from like this shit right here, which is pretty hard to break. If we have one guy playing bottom, making sure they're not pushing the back, because I don't like the idea of one of us pushing this way, but I do like the idea of one of us cutting off the cross, like around this hedge or this dumpster corner, either or, because that's where the sub is really gonna be the most effective, or the sub's just gonna be holding bottom on him and baiting the
I'm
guy
not
on
gonna
time
lie.
with other
I
people
feel
shooting
like
on the
the
cross.
easiest way to hold P2 is to have like 2 people P5 watching ticket, one person in hill holding garage, and then one person in hill holding tunnel. And for like I beat a team 250 to 40 in this, and I mean again eights, but like the reason why is it's actually, if they're just in the window and if they're not like snaking it, they're just hard aiming tunnel in hill. It's actually really hard to win that. Even if you send like 3 people out, it's actually almost impossible to win that in tunnel because you have to lay down first. But they see your feet. If they're in the window already pre-aiming tunnel, they have to look at your, or you see their feet before they can even like chow you.
Mm.
Unless they send 3 people, they're not going to kill you. And if they send 3 people, you're at least going to get 1 kill and get
You know
damage
what
on the
we
other.
should
And then
do
the other
then?
person, like whoever's
Someone
P5,
needs to play
can just
garage then.
hold the cross.
No, no,
Sub
no,
needs to
no,
be
but the guy
garage.
top is playing garage. I think if we're gonna do that setup, I think we have the sub hold bottom and just bait the bottom. Like if they can't, if
Well,
one
you
of
don't need to
it,
have anybody bottom. Like
you don't
I
need
would
to.
say
But the
I would
guy's
rather have
fucking
people.
pointless. I mean, you can have him push out or some
No, no, no.
shit,
Yeah,
No,
you can
but
have him
like
push
he
out. You can
can't.
have
He
him
doesn't
push
need
it.
to hold anything.
I would say have him in like ticket side of the map. Because if number 1 dies here, then it's too much to look at, and it's really hard. It's actually really hard from hill to kill that kid garbage, and then they'll slide to P5 and they'll be behind you, and then you have to worry. You can't chow
Nah, I
anything
think he
in
has to be
hill.
mid. He has to be mid because at least he can get a
That's what I'm
pinch
saying.
around ticket if
That's what I'm
possible.
saying.
But he should just
That's
be around
fine.
garage and then roaming around it, like probably just
That's
playing any
that's fine
corners
too.
and then reading the
That's what I would
spawns
do
based
myself.
off it.
I
And he can
think
set up the rotations because he can
every
rotate
single time that I've had
through
2 people in
top
hill,
or he can rotate through a
it's
flank.
it's been a full 60 when I've had 2 people on hill.
Yeah, that's
And have
fine.
all ticket control.
Yeah, that's
Like
fine.
the main way to break this is actually is from ticket. So if we have that's why I like having 2 people ticket side, because they usually send everybody ticket. They usually people really don't like trying to push from tunnel because it's such a funnel point that like that's why you just have that one person in the hill being protected. Like if you're where number one is in the window watching tunnel, like I win this gunfight 99% of the time. And if you are on the left side of the window and all the way pressed up against it, you can't get seen from garage. That's why I like if you're like to the right of the window or looking at it behind and trying to get like only be like your the top of your head showing from the window, you can be seen from garage. And that's why I like having somebody in hill watching garage because that's also a high ground. Like if you're in hill watching garage, you don't lose that gunfight either because you're on a fucking ridiculous heady with high ground for garage. And they're gonna if they die from tunnel, they're not gonna go tunnel again. They're like, okay, he's hard pre-aiming tunnel from fucking hill. Like, what are we gonna do? And if they do for some reason send 3 or 4 people tunnel, you get that information. You get 1 kill. You get information. You get them all weak. Number 2 just stays down, and then everybody can rotate and just funnel them through.
Cross. Yeah.
Yeah, nade the cross, stun the
Holy
cross,
fuck.
whatever.
All right,
Like-
you just fucking rambled about the easiest goddamn hill though. I think yeah, like
Yeah,
obvious those are
I'm
fucking
just saying,
obvious
I like,
shits
yeah.
right there. But let's just
Well,
say we have
you
2
say the
people in
easiest
hill
but, like,
time.
if we have an unbreakable setup for 60, so that's a
Yeah, so then
guaranteed
just
60
skip. They
seconds.
just then we're just gonna have 2 people in hill time, bro. I didn't. Holy fuck! I almost fell asleep right there. Holy shit. But yeah, I get what you're saying,
Take it
and
to
I
the
and then
high
and
top,
I
shut
ha-
up.
and I have that general rule most of the time because I tell you guys that if it's an indoor hill, you should have 2 people in hill time anyway.
Yeah.
So P2 would qualify under that. And then for rotations and then yeah, like it's the same thing for us though. If we're gonna break, it just have the sub should be pushing this, or if we're holding, the sub should be pushing this with garage. And then the flank or the rotations can set up this way for the sub, and flank around this side. And then we can have one AR like go to flip the spawn, take the long route, and then everyone else can go through. In my opinion, one guy goes around ticket, and then another one tries to help mid and just pinches on time. But
Yeah,
one
the sub-
AR
the sub
has
needs
to.
go,
The sub has to go mid and just be all in this top area, and then the AR, whoever's holding scrap time, the AR has to take the long route all the way around the side to flip, and then we get a pinch on time. And then for P3, I think the best way to hold P3 is if you have the main guy in time on that, you have you guys holding your front through the stairs. So like your sub can be roaming around mid anywhere. One AR holding the double doors, one AR holding the front. And then, I mean, do we want to have someone hold the pinch? Like from back
That's what.
apartments?
I feel like if the sub, like, if we're calling people out, the sub that's up top needs to just look back laundry, like, just to look out the windows, and you can always catch.
So play
them
around
trying
top
to hit them.
fire and see if they pinch, and then just
Yeah,
keep
like,
roaming
it's so
around.
easy to.
So then
I
the
also
other
think
the
that
other
this
AR
one-
can just be front with him as well, like just be
Yeah,
on
I also
time.
I also think that this hill is so 50-50 for like the close spawns that I think it's really just like if you spawn up, like take a route to pinch almost like
Yeah,
every
that's
single
what
time
I.
for this
Yeah,
hill.
that's what I do when I
'Cause
run
I've noticed
sub.
that that's huge.
Yeah, I
It's
always
like-
go top fire, rotating from
Yeah.
P2 to P3. I just go top fire and then just look out the windows, and you'll catch one rotating from
Yeah.
P4 to laundry to just go to new, and you just kill them like walking
It's
across the street.
it's actually insane how many times if you die on this hill, you can just take a slight long route to pinch
Yeah,
and
you
get
have
like
to. If
3
we're
kills.
rotating, if we're rotating through P4 though, we literally have to hit the back apartment, or else we're just gonna get shot from guys' window. If they're good, they'll just kill us on the pinch.
Or water tower.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
basically if we're holding, then we should just have 2 people around time holding the front, wherever they want to hold front from, because you can just hold it from this egg glitch, and you have one guy stairs, one guy holding the mid to make sure no one gets through, and then the sub is roaming top mid, who picks up the flank every now and then. And then if we're breaking, we have one guy who has to hit this long route, which is number 3 right here, does something like this, sub top mid, another AR top mid, so they can pinch the guy in time, and then this guy chooses the right timing to chow the front of the hill and just contest and just do what he can. Make sure we're throwing our nades as much as possible as well. And then
You
I
have to make
want
sure that you wait till the
I want for us
chow double doors.
if it's really if it's early, I want someone to push through and flip spawns. But if it's late, no matter what, and or someone's already on rotations, you guys should be hitting through P3 and then around to apartments and then to P4. It's way easier to break apartments from this backside than it is from the front, in my opinion. And then for this hill, you basically have a double setup, which is really easy. You have an Eiffel Tower right here where the sub is laying down preem in the door. The AR stands right over him. You have an AR in the back apartments holding a little bit of everything. You can be here, you can be here, you can be here, you can be wherever, holding all the way to the back apartments. And then the other AR, if we can, if at all possible, if we can get the AR to hold the mid on the stairs, best case scenario. Like that's our first push up idea, and then we just let them funnel through the tunnel. If not possible, the other AR can just stay in the corner, watch the cross, or just help them on time, so then we can push through, get the tunnel, and then best case scenario, push through to rotate to P5. And then if we're breaking it, it's the same thing like I was just telling you on the P3, on the end of P3. It's basically we have to have a hit mid with the sub shouldn't be hitting through the mid. It should be AR, like one AR mid, top mid or bottom mid, shooting the crosses. One AR taking a long route, maybe two, and then sub and another AR hits through the front, like the stairs, and then we hit time. Because we want to funnel them through tunnel, but then we also want to flip through tunnel, if at all possible. But it's way easier for the sub to maneuver on the map if it goes through top mid and nades out the guy on the stairs and then pushes the guy on the stairs.
One thing I noticed when watching VOD about our breaks, guys, we were like, we have to be comfortable with letting them have the first, like if we know that they're gonna have control, letting them have the first 5-10 seconds to wait for everybody to break. Because I think we tried like Supermaning a lot.
Or
We're
just
like,
to
"Oh, yeah, I'm
stall
here.
that 5 or 10
I'm just
seconds for
gonna-"
your teammates to get there.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna chow it, and then we die, and then we have like all of our pushes are now like broken apart into different times. Like instead, like if it's fine if they get the first 5-10 seconds, if we like slow push the break, let your routes take the long routes before you chow front. Because like that happened on I don't remember what map it happened a lot on. I think it might have been this one where we just kind of like two people would hit the front, and then people would be taking the route, but then the people hitting front would go way too early. They would die, and then they would just know that you were behind them. You were behind them, and then you had to like try to sprint to make up for it, and then you would die anyway.
But yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of times we have to be not afraid just to like stall and not chow a gunfight if we don't have to chow it. Like we just have to stall as long as possible for our teammates to get pinched. Especially on our sub, because like subs really just have to be contesting as long as possible to let people hit the flank, and vice versa. Like if the ARs are pushing time and they're staying down on time, like if we can contest, a lot of times you're gonna be contesting this hill. Like if someone gets through the front, you're gonna be contesting the hill this way. You don't have to take that chow if you know your teammates are coming through the back or through mid to help fast. You just wait that out. And then yeah, rotations for P4 to P5 would just be through tunnel if at all possible. But if we need to break, we do technically have to break it. I think through a pinch of plat and tunnel. Because what's really good here is that we have to get kind of P2 control, believe it or not, so we can start holding every cross to hold the hill time. And if we can get here first, that'd be ideal. But if we have to break, we do have to break through P2 and make sure we have a pinch on them time, so they have to divert their attention. Because if we just do ticket the whole time, they're just gonna funnel us the whole time.
No, yeah, P2 is like literally the best hold for P5. 'Cause
And
they
the best
spawn
way to
out
break
back-
anyway, because if you
Yeah,
do
if
get through
you're
to
early
P2,
rotation,
you
you
can
get
go
through
on
P2.
top and then start beaming people on the
Yeah.
crosses
Yeah,
and
because
stuff.
they spawn back P3 every single time. Like they are gonna flood ticket every time you just shoot them on the cross. They're one shot.
And then if you're a sub, you can just run through mid and start cutting people off here, start cutting people off here, start cutting through people off here. You know what I'm saying? You can use the mid to get as close as possible to P5 to break it by getting the cutoff so your teammates can start crossing.
Yeah.
And then you can shout time or some shit. And then it just resets back to P1.
I'm gonna keep it a bean, yo. Run me through that whole thing.
Shut up. Sub base is the same thing for the most part, right? Because I just talked about this whole map. This map is not really solved for me too much on this one because the rotations can really be whatever. So I'm not even going to describe too much outside of what we want to do for a hold and what we want to do for a break. But the main thing is that on red side we get into the hill first. So we get into the hill, and on red side we have one guy in the hill, one guy top AC on the left side, one guy top AC on the right side, and then one guy on the right side of the map somehow holding the right. And then they can't do shit about this hill for the most part. They can hit through this like outer water area side, but we want them hitting that so we can start funneling through this P5 side and holding P2. Because the spawns on this one are very quadrant based, literally down to the core. They're going to spawn here, they're going to spawn here, they're going to spawn here, they're going to spawn here. So what we want to do is we want to have this side of the map to control P2 and just start shooting on the crosses. Because what we want is them spawning here, and then we have a guy, no matter what like hill it is, one guy top snow, one guy top AC. Like if it's P2 for example, it literally could be this easy. One guy holding the back, one guy staying down on P2, one guy top AC or bottom AC just holding shit, and then one guy's front snow holding everything. For P1 and
that front snow is
P2, we
actually-
can do everything.
That one
Yeah,
guy
that-
who's
that
holding
front
back
snow
alley
is
can't
really
see
important,
much though.
actually.
That hold back alley you literally
Yeah.
cannot see much.
What he
though.
can
Like,
do, like he might give up spawns this way, but what he can do is he can go this way and help hold the
Or you
mid-cut
could-
and hold the back
actually,
cross.
a good hold is
I think the
forklift.
guy on hill is still what's it called, blocking that quadrant. So it should be.
I don't think so.
No,
I've
I
gotten
don't
that
think
spawn
so.
a lot. I honestly feel like number one there should be behind that forklift, like the back left corner. Like if you're on that top plat, you actually have a pretty good head glitch from that wall there. Like I could actually get a lot of kills behind that forklift there. And then number two should just be laying down.
Either forklift
laying
and then
down.
just go to stairs. Like the guy that's
Yeah.
there, just if the guy that's top snow dies, he just goes to stairs and watches side
And then
door.
and then
But
hopefully they'll start
I
spawning.
really like having that what you said there, having that person top snow, because I can't tell you how many like this hill is so 50-50 with people pushing P2 window, like the front P2 window or the side doors. So if we make sure that we always have somebody that top snow right there, just denying them from going through the window, then we just have to keep them in the back.
And then if
what's the hold if the top snow guy's already dead though? Like if that guy dies on a gunfight, what's the hold then? Like do we
still
rotate the hill?
it's the same thing. We need to just
okay.
control this window area instead. So it'd be like he spawns up, he goes side door, and then he controls the window area. We get kills, and then he pushes up. Is
Okay.
basically what it is. Like as you remember, because our rule is supposed to be tight and then push out. So our tight setup is gonna be something like this, to where we're just waiting for our opponent to throw their lives. Once they throw their lives, it's gonna be something like this.
Is there a fast way to get to that snow from mid?
Just hop on the.
Is
You
there
can
a
hop on
box there
anything,
on
man.
that AC?
You can hop on anything.
Hop on gen to gen.
You can
literally
hop
just go
on
from gen to
this.
gen.
You can hop on this to gen to this.
So you can get on
you can
that
go on the
generator to top snow?
ladder.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
you can do a bunch of shit.
Okay.
And then yeah, we
I
just want.
wasn't sure.
I'd rather them
Okay.
spawn in the back or on the side or
Yeah.
tunnel.
Yeah, top third can literally just hold
to
it
have
all
to have
right.
to rotate, and then if we just for the rules for P1, P2, and P3, because there's not even a good P3 hold. It's really just like have one guy lay down time like this,
We need
one guy
third
top
control.
3, one guy bottom 3, and then one guy either holding the back this way. Preferably he's in the back this way, and they're spawning on the side, and they're spawning over here. Like preferably, honestly, hopefully he's on this side of the map anchoring, and then he's just fucking we're letting them hit through the left side. This guy's as close to this wall as possible, laying down, and we just let them funnel through mid and through the front. Hopefully. But they will spawn fucking over here by P2, so it's really and then yeah, hopefully that's the case. But my rule is for P1, P2, and P3, we just have to have a guy top AC, and preferably a guy top
exactly.
snow or radio, and then we should be fine
Perfect.
for
I
the
was
most
gonna
part.
say,
One guy
we need
time, one
fire
guy
and
close to
top third.
time, one guy top third, one guy AC, and you win P1, P2, and P3. That's all those hills are that way. And then P4 is pretty simple from my understanding. Oh yeah. Also, if we're spawning out, by the way, our priority is to break top 3 and top cat no matter what. So like if we're spawning out and we don't have hill control P1, P2, or P3, our first priority is top cat or top AC. And then it's to whatever the hill is. So I'd rather us take like 2 or 3 top AC, and then one guy hits here, and then one guy jumps down, hits here, and then one guy stays or some shit. You know what I'm saying? That will always be our priority. And then if we're rotating P3 to P4, it's obviously who gets there first, but this is where everyone has it wrong. We want the front. We want to hold P4 from the front, so the rotation should just be through the front, because what we want is our opponent to be in the back. So the best possible case scenario, no matter what, is if we have a guy holding the back from this cubby, a guy on time helping him hold the back, one guy top third holding the front, and then another guy top snow helping hold the front. And then who can also help on the route because he can hit through the back right here and start killing them as well. Or he can help and just jump down and go through tunnel. That's what we want, and we want them spawning over here.
Yeah.
We want them
back in the back.
forcing that way. If we're breaking the hill, just hit through the front if at all possible. I find the best if we have an AR who just sits top AC, waits for the guy to chow to throw his life, gets him weak. One guy, you gotta understand, this is what we're just practicing, especially with our subs on like Selly like this. We play as close to this wall as possible. We get as close as possible. We throw our trophies or whatever. We throw our nades. We slide, cross behind the heady, and then we just stall, wait for them to chow, or we will take the chow. It's whatever. And then we can start.
Help with that cross.
Yep, and then we can just start holding the crosses. And then this guy who took a route around P2 to P5, he's gonna hit top snow. He can hit a flank, and then boom, we can pinch on time. And then boom, we can turn around. And they're gonna spawn back here and start chowing time, or they're gonna cross and rotate to P5, or they're gonna be idiots and cross to the right. And then if we have to break P4 from the back, like we are the blue team, I think that we get someone out early on the right side to flank and get this mid control top AC or top radio And then once we get this control, we can start flanking through the mid and like setting up for a flip for P5. Because if we get someone out, or someone can get out early this way and then jump on top snow this way too, that works as well. But we gotta make sure we can get. It's the same thing on the P4 side. If someone goes top snow and then pinches this way, it's adverse. Like we need to get top snow and then pinch this way to break the time. It's much easier to break through the front. And then P5's P5 for the most part. I find that the best hold for P5 is someone's back here blocking spawns, someone's on time. Like honestly, the first setup I'd realistically have is if we can have a guy top snow, one guy on time, one guy tunnel because he'll likely spawn tunnel and be there anyway, and then if we can have a guy above him on time holding shit, that'd be perfect. And then we're spawning them this way. But if we have an ideal, what we want to do is we want to have someone push up on this left side, start blocking this spawn. One guy top snow, one guy top AC, and then hopefully he'll be top windows, and then they're gonna start spawning. Where the fuck did I have this guy?
P2.
P2.
alley.
And then hopefully they're gonna spawn this way, and start.
No,
and then
through tunnel or
Yeah, if they
further.
chow through warehouse, the person that's top literally always gets 1 kill, and then if you
yeah,
get away with
and
your
then
life,
we
you
can literally
lose
just
that.
spawn trap them through tunnel and through this way,
Yeah.
and that's what we want ideally.
The top warehouse is literally the hardest kill ever. Like if you're up there with an AR, you never lose the first person that chows to you.
Yeah, not if you're perp though. Trust.
All right, terminal. Terminal is the easiest one to understand out of all the hardpoint maps. It plays so fundamental, and it's just the easiest one in all regards. It's just when it comes to breaking, you have to really understand what you're knowing how to do. So, basically, obviously, if we spawn good side, we just have one person in hill time. Honestly, best case scenario for holding hill time, like if we can get one guy behind Burger to snake it, but you might get naded, so it's whatever. We can. I don't know if we want to use a contest spot, but best case scenario, if one of our ARs can get to here, we can play for kills first, and then like have someone slide into that, and then have one guy hold the pinch. I usually find the best way to hold the pinch for the most part is having this AR back here holding books, and then checking periodically if no one's trying books this angle, and just staying back security to make sure the spawns are blocked and you can hold all the pinches. But just don't have anyone back here be peekable from someone who takes a wide thing right here, like a wide child. But this is why he's supposed to be here and supposed to pick that up fast. And then we just have someone close, and then the first chance we get, if we can, if we want to use a contest spot, I'm cool with you using this corner contest spot. I don't think that's really a bad thing on the most part because it's pretty open and shit like that. This contest spot's okay too. Just don't try. That's for GA purposes. Just try not to use this contest spot, and try, and if we can get down in time right here, and preferably this corner, something like that. But we're just supposed to mitigate our losses on P1. That's what matters, right? Because for our rotations, which the whole map is this way, our rotations are supposed to be P1 to P2. We need to get into plane first to win P3, P3 to P4, P4 to P5. We want to hold this side of the map the whole game for the most part, and just get into the plane first and let them cross. Like that's what we want. We want to be on this side of the map the whole game because it's just all of this is naturally a high ground. The only place higher on this than all of this shit is this. And we don't really need to go there for the majority of the map. I'm being so serious. That's just kind of a kill Hori spot, but can also help hold crosses and stuff, right? So for P1, we mitigate our losses on P1. We rotate through the back, and if we're breaking P1, unless we can get into P2 first from terminal like we were just practicing, unless we can do that, we should have like maybe two people pinch this front area to see what they can do and keep them distracted, while two people old are hitting this route hitting through Eskies. With one person, it's more like actually one person should do this, hitting through the front, trying to do something, like he can do the window chow. One guy, 3 of these guys hit through, 2 guys hit through P1, and 1 guy tries to pinch books, which Perp is really good at, by the way. Perp already understands this very well. If we can get books and start killing people on crosses from books, have at least 2 people pinching or 1 person pinching and 1 or 2 people front, they can't do anything about it. They just can't hold everything. It's just not possible for them. And that'll always be the best case scenario on that one. If we can get 1 person in books, 1 person in front at least, and at least 1 person flanking, you should be fine because we're covering every single lane. Someone is bound to have a successful lane push, and then it's going to start diverting the opponent's attention. That's only if we have to break spawns. If we have spawns and we're holding the hill, it's deadass going to be the same thing. I have this guy just anchoring this shit. I have 1 guy holding the front, doing this shit. I like this angle that you were using, where you're like holding the front terminal. I think this was pretty good. Solar. And then you have 1 guy on time who's just using this head glitch to hold the front and not throwing his life. And then 1 guy I mean, this guy can go fucking wherever. Honestly, I don't
The
really.
person in hill just has to hold their front push. Like
I'd
that
probably
window
say.
that
Yeah, well, yeah, no,
window
he's
that-
holding. That's what I just said. He's holding this
Yeah.
and not throwing his life away if they start
Yeah.
like shooting his
Well, you don't
shit.
even have to be behind that. You can be like in the back right corner, just watching, waiting for them to slide chow like close right. Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't even have to look be where they can see
That
you at
too.
all from the hallway, because whoever's that behind where I usually play there is gonna die right away, and then you can even have that. Yeah, that person can back up and just help back security because they usually.
Like you
try
can
to
honestly just have this back. You can have him back security, one guy holding the pinch this way,
Yeah, I
but
like that.
and then just have him like because even if this guy lets them hit the back, he still has all the cross. So he might be baiting y'all hard as hell, but this guy's always gonna come out on top no matter what. And they shouldn't really be able to do that because whoever's here can just peek this way, like hold a pre-aim this way, hold a pre-aim this way, and he can help the front security if need be. So, and then yeah, break should be through here with one through here with us trying to get through the front this way. I just don't like this mid area. I don't like us pushing through this mid area if possible. But you can, like, imagine you can push through this mid area and then slide behind this heady, and then they let you get free shit. But I think the guy in Hill Time's just going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to do our setup. And then for P3, we just have to get into P3 first, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we have to flip spawns on P2 to get into P3 first, I'm down for it. But all that matters is if we can get into, like, best case scenario, if, like, everything goes well and everyone gets kills, all that happens is this guy pushes up, one of these guys, these two push into time, and then they just do the hold that everyone sees us do. Is that one guy holds the front this way, one guy holds the back this way. They just double up on time, and then these guys on their rotations, he could go outer. I don't suggest going outer if you have two guys in plane anyway. I'll just hit the front and then go to this to hold the front cross, and then this guy can just do fucking whatever. Like he can pinch books, he can watch the alleyway, but he's supposed to control and understand the spawns is all that matters. And then if we're breaking, I don't know. Honestly, this hill is a fucked up hill to break on. But I'd say personally, we should be breaking through terminal to break the hill. And what we need to do is flip spawns to be able to do that. So if we can have like someone go top AC, I don't like someone showing mid. Someone goes around this way, pinches books. Someone goes around this way, pinches terminal. And then if you can try and get someone to crossing across, but I don't know. P3, I really don't have the break down that much yet. I just find that it's easier to break from hill if we have someone crossfiring this way and wall banging through the windows. If you guys can get into time this way, with one guy hitting a pinch and like trying to hold mid and books or some shit on the rotations, it just is the best way to break that hill, from my experience. Like terminal is really the only way to break that hill. I don't know how else is it. Like you can try and go through the back ladder and like kill them with your pistol and shit like that, but it's just rare. Someone will have to get kills. Also, I see a common thing where someone goes mid and they try to shoot through the plane from mid, like using the head glitch here and then front mid here, and just shoots through the plane. If you can do that without getting killed, go ahead, but not very common. And then if we're rotating from P3 to P4, it's very simple. It's very simple. It's only two ways to go about it. If we have spawns, we don't need to worry about it. But if we have spawns, it'd basically be like someone's holding the back. I kind of like this head glitch right here. You can do this as well. You can do the same exact thing to hold P4 with one guy in hill time helping hold his mid from that jump up, and then one guy holding the cross this way. And then the guys on scrap time, what he does is he rotates all the way around Eskies this way if we have spawns. Exactly this route, by the way. Exactly this route. And then flanks Eskies because he's going to get a free kill on someone right about here in Eskies anyway, and then they're going to get a pinch on time. It's going to be perfect. And then if everything works out well, he can get a kill, push up, and then everyone stays alive on time and everything works out well. You can just play in this corner, and then they're going to start spawning Eskies again. And then he starts spawn trapping them. And what works out well on that pinch too is that when he does this, when he's blocking this spawn, they're going to spawn over here by terminal, which is going to lead for even easier kills for the guy's security to kill. They're literally going to spawn P2, and then this guy's going to peek, or they're going to run into this guy. It's going to be the freest kills of his life. And then let's say we have to break the hill, right? Like, let's say we don't have hill control, and let's say there's like a blue guy on time, blue guy holding the cross, fucking someone right here, right? If this is what the play is, we should be hitting through the back, trying to get into this back area here to help clear mid, so then we can chow the front this way. It literally should be something like this, where someone goes this way, someone goes this way, but then someone takes this wide route area here, and then the guy on old, if this is the setup, he's going to take the Eskies route, right? The guy on old should be taking the route that's the least taken for the timing and for the pinch, if it's this way. It's the exact same thing inversely if it were to be the opposite way. So let's say blue team has spawns, they're in a setup like this, and they're holding the crosses on some shit, right? Then what's going to happen is 3 of us are pushing front eskies. If this is the case, the guy old time or the guys old time are going to do the opposite. They're going to do a late pinch this way. And they're going to do the long route that we talked about. He's going to do this way, shoot people on the cross, go back this way, and then try and get time or just hold the rotations for P5. Because eventually we will spawn P2 and then we can start getting a good pinch on time. But remember, like, this is an S&D play right here, right? You should be taking this, but if someone's watching you, just do what you can to win the gunfight and get through that way. Because you just kind of have to get through him if someone is there. But what's going to happen more often than not is you're going to get to here, and then someone's going to cross or start chowing the cross. You're going to get free kills here or here. Because the opponent's just going to stand there and do fucking nothing. And then rotations P4 to P5. If we don't have hill control and we have to break, it's a mixture of doubling the back here and then doubling the front there. I don't like hitting through this way to break. I just think that's fucking useless on the P5. So if we are breaking the P5, we should be having 2 hitting the back this way, maybe just 1 with 2 or 3 hitting the front, just trying to overwhelm it because it does work sometimes. As long as whoever can get this desk control and start snaking this is going to win the battle every single time. But if we have hill control, like let's say we're the blue team and we have hill control, if we just set a double on time where they're both just snaking this heady or one's like laying down waiting for them to chow or some shit, like probably like this. This would probably be best. Laying down, one guy's snaking, one guy's holding the right, and then one guy's holding the left. They can't do anything. They just can't do anything on hill time, and then even if these guys die, one of these 2 guys can go fill time with the other one just holding. And then one guy spawns up, and then he can hold something. And then you just do that. And then you just overwhelm on P5, and then you just wrap back for P1. And you do it all over again. It is It is that simple.
Solar kill.
Yeah, that's really it. So, any questions?
No, that made sense.
There's
I just feel like
mayonnaise,
maybe on that last P5 though, you said hitting through the left is kind of bad. Like I feel like hitting through the front, if they're already set up on the front, we just get gunned. Like it's hard to chow the front if they're already set up. Like if they're already
No, and you're
holding
right, but I think this is my personal theory, right? And this is why I say this is because I mean, like theoretically, we could just solve that problem with having only one guy chow front and then one guy do this, right? Do some shit like this. But I want you to understand because you just saw me 1v1 Selly on this shit and we practiced this shit. I think what's going to happen in COD is people are just going to be better at breaking, especially good teams, and they're going to break through the front more often because the front's going to be the least guarded for the most part. It's going to be easiest to
that
break,
makes sense.
especially on terminals since these head glitches are harder to break. So, and we've done it most successfully this way anyway because as long as the thing is you're going to spawn Eskies and then you're going to go and you're going to take this route, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
All
For
that
sure.
matters is if someone kills the guy who's stupid enough on the other team, because they're going to do it, he's going to chow this cross. If we kill that guy on the cross, if we flood time, we have so much space to flood time that as long as we kill this guy on the cross, it doesn't matter if we choke once or twice. If this guy does his job or if one of these guys actually get the kill on time, they lose either way. They lose control of the P5 either way because either we flip the spawns and now we can break it easier because they're split their attention, or he gets a pinch or dies and they just win on the front of the time. It's actually not as hard as we really think it is to break that hill time. It's really not because what's going to happen a lot too is someone's going to be somewhat idiotic and they're going to go AC here and they're just going to try and get shots on the guy on the head glitch or something. But you guys also got to remember this is wall bangable. All of this is wall bangable. You ARs, I want you to start trying this more often, but because I see good players do this, test if everything is wall bangable. So if you see someone cross a corner or some shit and he's just running away or some shit, or he's like on a head, does whatever he is, test if it's wall bangable because a lot of stuff on a lot of these maps are wall bangable with the ACR. And we just don't try that enough. If we win just one gunfight, despite throwing our lives, like our team lives, like once or twice or something like that, we get one win right here. All of a sudden, this guy has to run into time. This guy has to run into time. this guy has to run the time. If there's a guy here, he has to run the time. You know what I'm saying? We just need that one break in the hill time to put the pressure on the opponent to have to chow this. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, it's not us getting funneled. He's running, he's dying, he's running, he's dying, he's running, he's dying. We're winning on P1 rotations. It's literally a whole bunch. Because best case scenario too is like say if you get to here to burger at that best case scenario and you're doing something, they're gonna start spawning this way and start chowing you this way. And then the guy on hill time could just like stay down, watch his flank or some shit, with one guy watching his front this way, and then one guy's like spawning out even. They're just gonna do like they're gonna be idiots and they're gonna do this play, and they're gonna get funneled every time. We just need that one break on P5 because I've seen it on land. It's not an easy hill to break, but I've seen it on land where motherfuckers just can't break that hill and they lose because of that, right? But you guys also have to understand that this is technically the most open hill on the map for the most part, besides maybe P1. All we have to, you can throw a nade from anywhere on that hill. Like if we have an AR, go here and see if we can destroy a trophy and then take the route this way and then chow or whatever. Like if we can destroy trophies, throw our nades in the hill time, they're dead every time. Every single time. So let's do our due diligence. Let's everyone throw our stuns into the hill, go about our route, and then if we, like, it really should be this. We spawn up, we go, we try and get into a position, we throw our nades, someone hits this or whatever. Like the people mid are going to throw their nades at a time. They're going to throw all their nades. If none of their nades hit, it's whatever. They chow time, they do what they can, they wait for the pinch or whatever. But if one of the nades hits, you chow it anyway because they're going to be weak. You're going to have the break. You know what I'm saying? We have to call the bluff on them actually holding the hill because it's the same thing you just saw with Selly. This motherfucker's just snaking on this Heglish the whole time, but he's letting me get close. If we can get closer and closer to B5, I'm calling their bluff on that. And as soon as we get close, we're just better and we're gonna win the gunfight. That's just simply what it has to be. So they can snake this as all they want, but if they're not chowing us, we can. They let me get close. I'm gonna take advantage of that and I'm gonna shit on them. That's how it should be. And then yeah, it just resets P5, P1. All right. Anything else?
No, that's all. I think.
Nope.